Now I'm going to go through this as quickly as possible, really, because it takes so long to load 10 minutes up, doesn't it? Thank you for your letter of the 7th of August on behalf of the constituent who seeks your opinion on the arrest and prosecution of those who use cannabis for medical purposes. This is from the Home Office. I have every sympathy for those with debilitating illnesses and chronic pain who are looking to alleviate their symptoms and who may not find adequate relief from existing medication. However, I must clarify that the unauthorized possession of cannabis for whatever purpose, recreational or therapeutic, is a criminal offence, and any persons found in possession are liable to prosecution, whatever their motive for doing so. It is reasonable to believe that they will have some knowledge of the possible consequences of this unlawful activity. Yes, well, what a madness. They've got every sympathy indeed, yes, but what a load of rubbish. They have no sympathy at all for any of these people that are suffering pain, and it makes me want to puke. It really does. They've got no sympathy at all. Any arrest, investigation and subsequent prosecution of people who possess cannabis for therapeutic purposes is a matter for the local police and the Crown Prosecution Service, not the government in accordance with the law. Don't know what that means, because there's no sentence there. Not the government in accordance with the law. In particular, it is for the Crown Prosecution Service to decide whether to prosecute a case, subject to both the individual and public interest test. From all of the surveys that have recently been carried out, it would seem that the public interest in prosecuting these cases is that minimal, that there is no interest whatsoever. And there's a very little interest for recreational use and the prosecution of recreational uses, that for that matter as well. And sorry for blurbing all over the place, you know, it makes me angry, to say the least. There will inevitably be those who make false claims for possession of cannabis for medical purposes. Equally, there may be cases where a proper application of the existing discretion available to both the police and the Crown Court Prosecution Service means that a prosecution is not brought, and where cases are prosecuted, it is for the courts to decide guilt, and where a conviction ensues, sentence, taking into account, as they do, all the circumstances of the offence and the defendant. Do they do it? No, there's 5 people going through court at the moment that have prescribed medicine, well, been asked to supply cannabis for people with MS, and they're being persecuted for their distribution of it, and it's so wrong. And oh God, the government's view is that cannabis is and will remain a controlled illicit drug for good reasons. What are the good reasons, I may ask? Cannabis has a number of acute and chronic health effects, according to them, and prolonged use can induce dependence. Now, I've been using cannabis for 30 years, and I haven't had any cannabis for 2 weeks. Where's my dependence? You know, I am not depending on it at all. I have a bad back, and I put up with the pain of that bad back when I haven't got any, because I won't go to the doctors again and say, I've got a bad back, you know, can you give me some medicine for it? Because when I went to the doctors and he said, yes, I can give you some medicine for it, but I then asked, what are the side effects of this medicine? Oh, you'll get constipation, and you might feel sick, and you might feel this and that. So what's the point of taking these prescribed drugs when I can take cannabis and the pain goes away from my bad back, and that's it? Even the occasional use of cannabis can pose significant dangers for people with mental health problems, such as schizophrenia, and particular efforts need to be made to encourage abstinence in such individuals. The government believes that it clearly makes sense on health grounds, but there's been no deaths attributed to it, and according to the research that I've carried out, using cannabis makes people susceptible to control, susceptible to ideas, susceptible to making them or helping them understand the situation in which they're in. So if they're suffering from schizophrenia, psychiatrists turn around and say to these people, well, if you stay off the cannabis, then the schizophrenia will go away. So therefore they've had that seed planted into their heads, and when they stop using cannabis, the schizophrenia does go away, and they think, well, wonderful, that means that now I'm not taking cannabis, I won't hear voices anymore, and I won't do silly things. The government believes that it clearly makes sense on health grounds for cannabis to remain a controlled drug. And these people that have got schizophrenia and use cannabis, what percentage of the population of the 3 million that the government estimates use cannabis regularly every day? You know, it's such a minute percentage that it makes no difference. I smoke tobacco. Where is it? This stuff here. You know, this stuff. And this kills thousands every year. Thousands. But what do they do about it? They don't ban this stuff and make this stuff illegal, do they? Because it lines their pockets. It fills it full of tax money, and God knows, you know. Oh, they're sick, they are. They're sicker than the sickest that you can imagine. The only reason that they stop cannabis and make cannabis illegal is because they can't tax it. Because people could grow it themselves, and there would be no tax on it. The only tax that there'd be on it is the tax for the equipment to grow it and the seeds. And that's where they come unstuck, isn't it? And they know it. They are the sickest people on the world because they're preventing people from using a medication which benefits them. They need to have their, well, God, they need circumcising. They need castrating, not circumcising. Whilst the government has no intention of legalising the use of cannabis in its raw form for medical purposes, we have said that we would seek Parliament's agreement to make any necessary changes in the law to enable the prescription of cannabis-based medicine for the purposes of relieving pain, but not before the granting of a product approval from the Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency, MIRA. Wonderful. So Satifex gets, sent to Canada, and then it has to come back in here on a licence, which is provided by the Home Office for the individual that wants to use it. What a load of testicles. I won't swear. It would not be appropriate for the government to circumvent or undermine the well-established process attached to the evaluation of the safety, quality and effectiveness of all prospectively prescribable products by MIRA. It is a process which is designed to protect public health. Yes, public health. But what is wrong with the right to choose? The right of the individual to choose what medication he uses or she uses. Doctors must be confident about what they prescribe, as I said before, and it's 9 minutes gone already. I'm sick of the whole process that the government uses to manipulate words. The government faces difficulty in changes to the law unless and until it is satisfied the benefits have been formally established by the statutory recognised means. I'm not going to go into it anymore because that bloody time's up.